living through a very tense election season while living in the largest swing county in the nation. So you may be wondering if Maricopa County is adding enough security to the equation.
And joining us to answer that is Maricopa County Sheriff Russ Skinner. Sheriff, thanks for joining us. Is it fair to say there are basically three areas of concern: protecting polling locations on Election Day, protecting those counting the ballots, and then keeping an eye on the drop-off locations for early ballots?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me this morning. And obviously, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, along with local law enforcement, has been preparing for this for the past year. Actually, since the 2022 elections, we certainly have a plan in place to make sure that all those locations will have security and obviously vigilance to make sure that everybody in the community is safe to go out, go vote, cast their ballots, as well as the workers that work in those locations. And the other side of that, too, is also the cyber side that we see, unfortunately, some of the threats, some of the rhetoric, some of the misinformation that continues to be pushed forward. And we have to vet that to certainly look at any vulnerable areas or issues that we may need to respond to as public safety.
I know, Sheriff, I've never felt unsafe walking into a polling place or walking from my car up to a polling place. Is there something that voters who are going to be voting in person can, watch for? Situational awareness? Should they be, extra worried?
No, I don't think this is any different. Maricopa County is a very safe county. We've obviously had a lot of changes in our environment across the nation, but even Maricopa County with major events, and it's no different than any other event that might bring out larger crowds, more speculation, and just to be vigilant, be aware of your surroundings. No different than walking out to a parking lot or walking into a store or going into a major event. We just want our community to definitely be safe. We will have extra resources out there, as we do with any event, to make sure that anything that potentially could be suspicious, and we do ask and encourage the community if they see something that certainly is of concern, to bring it to the attention, either to the poll workers. They've been trained to de-escalate or at least look into situations. And if it rises to the level of public safety or law enforcement response, they will let us know. Obviously, if it's something of very concerning of, a person with a weapon or issues of threatening where they don't feel safe or comfortable, call 911, let us know.
Yeah, and know the difference, I suppose, between those two scenarios, right? I heard you talking yesterday about the use of drones on Election Day.
Yes, and this will be mainly centered around the tabulation center. Obviously, law enforcement, it's a tool for law enforcement, just as we do with, again, major events. We see these when we have sporting events here that impact the Valley. It gives us just extra eyes and opportunities to look at areas and be vigilant and respond to get our resources there. Much cheaper than a helicopter put in the sky, so we do utilize those just more or less to have an overview and to get those resources where they're needed, if needed, and make sure just everything is going smooth and operating. We're not, looking to violate anybody or intimidate anybody. It's just more or less to have just that extra set of eyes and ears where we, see cameras on buildings anyways. Right. This gives us more of an aerial view and obviously is more mobile to get it right to the location where we may need to look into it a little more and assess it.
We are talking to Maricopa County Sheriff Russ Skinner about voting security, election security, and how worried are you about what may happen after the election, and are you prepared for that as well?
Yeah, it's impossible to predict every scenario, but we train, equip, and prepare our staff for all levels of incidents that we potentially may encounter. I'm very confident we're at the ready and hopeful for a very positive election cycle. Our staff has been working on this again for the past several years since the 2020 election cycle, where we saw a big difference in just the picture and environment of that, as well as all law enforcement throughout the Valley. And I got to say, the biggest thing that the improvement's been is the partnership and communication amongst all the agencies, not only at the local level, but also at the state and federal level. And everybody's at the ready to make sure that we have safe communities, our communities feel safe to go out and, participate in the process. And then after, we will continue to, evaluate the need for at what point do we need to either step up resources or scale back resources, but we will have them dedicated to make sure that we have a good 2024 election cycle for Maricopa County.
And what do you say, Sheriff, to anyone who's maybe considering doing something foolish at a drop-off box on election day or to an election worker after the election?
Yeah, and the biggest thing there is we have zero tolerance for any criminal activity, any intimidation, any of the election laws. We will take action. We are very much partnered with our prosecutorial agencies, again, our other public safety agencies. There is no tolerance for anybody trying to involve or have nefarious intentions relative to this process. We want to make sure that democracy is commenced with this election cycle, and we will take all measures as necessary to the level necessary to make sure that it is safe and secure.
All right. That is Maricopa County Sheriff Russ Skinner joining us this morning to talk about election security.
Thanks for watching Arizona's Morning News. Click to watch more from KTAR News and hit the button in the middle to subscribe.